The NFL unveiling who is the winner of the 2025 NFL MVP award is something that's probably on every single NFL fan's mind right now. I mean, the race has been hot this year. Lamar Jackson has been absolutely on fire with the Baltimore Ravens, and Josh Allen has been killing it in Buffalo. For me personally, the race is very opinion-based, and you guys know me, I'm a Raven fan. I'm taking Lamar Jackson's case. In my opinion, he's the clear MVP frontrunner. It isn't close whatsoever. But I always do believe there are two sides to the story. So you know what? I got my boy Andrew on here to go ahead and defend and talk about Josh Allen's case for MVP. Now, before I get into it, make sure to like and subscribe. It is very much appreciated. Go ahead and follow my guy Andrew right here too. He's one of the best content creators I've ever seen. One of my idols, man, in the game of content creation when it comes to the sports genre. But I'm gonna go ahead and start off my reasoning and why I believe Lamar should win MVP over Josh Allen. Then he'll go ahead and explain his reasoning why. So there are many reasons why I believe Lamar Jackson should win MVP over Josh Allen. My first reasoning is just the stat breakdown and the stat comparison between the two. And just a reminder for everybody, the MVP has already been voted on. They just need to announce it. None of the playoff stuff that happened counts to the award. I just gotta let everybody know just in case. Lamar Jackson has more passing yards than Josh Allen. He has more rushing yards than Josh Allen. He almost put up 4,000 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards, which is, you know, something insane, which he had the most passing and rushing yards in NFL history this year. He had 45 total touchdowns, with 41 of them were passing and only 4 of them were rushing. So all you people saying that Lamar Jackson can't pass the ball, he had 4,000 passing yards this year and 41 passing touchdowns. And I think another thing that we need to bring into the aspect is Lamar had 4 interceptions this year. He is putting up some prime Aaron Rodgers stats this year. 41 passing touchdowns and 4 interceptions is something that just reminds me of Aaron Rodgers, having that single number of interceptions being that low and having that many passing TDs with that many yards. This season for Lamar stat-wise has honestly just been prime Aaron Rodgers mixed in with Lamar Jackson with the rushing. That clears Allen in every stat. He has more passing yards, more rushing yards. Allen has more interceptions. Allen's touchdown breakdown is 28 passing touchdowns to 12 rushing TDs. He had a lot of, you know, QB sneaks this year. He was trying to get his best Jalen Hurts impression. Lamar had a higher QBR with a quarterback rating of 119 and Allen's only being 101. Lamar Jackson had a 66% completion percentage and Allen only had a 63 completion percentage. So Lamar has outweighed Josh Allen in every single stat category this year besides rushing touchdown. Ravens also have the highest total team yards this season with 7K. They've been running all over football teams. Lamar has been throwing all over football teams this season. Ravens this year are also 3rd in points per game with 35.5, which, you know, there's been other teams higher than that, like the Detroit Lions have been absolutely scoring the ball. The Ravens this year are also 3rd in points per game, which averaging 30 points a game this year in the NFL is kind of absurd, man. They average 6.8 yards per play, which has also been something great with the offense. They have the highest rushing yards, the most rushing yards in the NFL, which I'm going to get into talking about Derrick Henry in a little bit. They are 2nd in touchdowns just behind the Detroit Lions. And also Lamar Jackson didn't play in the 4th quarter in some games due to blowouts, because like, why am I going to play and my team's already up 20 points? Like that game versus the Giants, he came out when he could have stat padded his way to Jackson 6. Talking about Derrick Henry and the success Derrick Henry's had this NFL season and how that affects Lamar's MVP. Now people might say, oh, Lamar doesn't deserve MVP because he has Derrick Henry back there doing a ton of the offensive work, which that's not wrong. Derrick Henry does do a ton of the offensive work. Derrick Henry's had an outstanding season this year, 1,900 rushing yards, 18 touchdowns. He's been great. But you also got to talk about the fact how some of Derrick Henry's success this season is because of Lamar Jackson. With Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry's averaged 5.9 yards per carry, which is a career high from him, especially after last season where he didn't have the best season ever with an average of 4.2 yards per carry and only putting up 1,100 yards. Now, the reason why this affects Lamar Jackson so much in his MVP standings is not because, you know, Derrick Henry, of course, he's a great running back, but also the fact that defenses don't know what to do, if they should go ahead and target Henry, load up the box, or is Lamar going to go ahead and run the ball. The RPO option is so dangerous, and we really saw that in that playoff game versus Pittsburgh and how much the Ravens are able to go ahead and abuse that. So I believe part of the reason why Henry's having such a good career year is because of Lamar Jackson. Let's talk about all the playoff teams that the Ravens also play in the regular season that they had to go ahead and beat. They decimated the Bills, they beat the Commanders, they beat the Buccaneers, which we saw Jackson 5 that night. They all around demolished the Denver Broncos, they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, they beat the Chargers, and they destroyed the Houston Texans. The only playoff losses they have are to the Steelers and to the Kansas City Chiefs, which of course that loss week 1 was very, very crucial. And of course they had 2 very good wins over the Cincinnati Bengals. I know they aren't a playoff team this year, but you know, they were right on the bubble, which that would give Lamar Jackson an 8-3 record against playoff teams this year compared to Josh Allen. He has a record against playoff teams in the regular season of 2-3 this year, which you might say, oh, those 2 wins were against the Kansas City Chiefs and the Detroit Lions, 2 huge teams, but still, dropping games to some playoff teams is very crucial when you want to go ahead and talk about the MVP conversation. He has a losing record. Now, I know the Ravens and the Bills don't have the same schedule, so they can't go ahead and, you know, compare schedules fully because they didn't play the same opponent, but I definitely think it's something you should take into consideration when you're picking the MVP on who has beaten the harder teams and the teams who have made the playoffs this year. That's my personal take on Lamar Jackson, the MVP race. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to my boy Andrew, where he can go ahead and explain his version and explains why he thinks Josh Allen should win it.
All right, shout out to my guy Crumble Takes for hitting me up this week to be the honorary defender of Josh Allen's MVP case. Because yeah, I'm a Josh Allen for MVP guy. I know Crumble is a Lamar guy. And look, I want to start this by saying both guys had absurd years, okay? And I hate having to put down Lamar Jackson to hype up Josh Allen. But when you're deciding between the two, that's kind of what the game is, right? And both guys have been going back and forth all season. I mean, even we've seen it with the betting odds and how those have changed since week 18. We even saw it this weekend in the wild card games when Lamar went out there and dominated the Steelers. Got a bunch of comments and DMs immediately after that, like, yo, bro, you still a Josh Allen for MVP guy? And then Josh Allen goes out, dominates the Broncos' elite defense, and I have to respond to every single one like, damn right I am. Again, I don't think there is a definitive right answer, but if there was, I do think it's Josh Allen, and here's why. When we're defining MVP, I think a lot of people look at it as how good were you with your team? To me, I think really the way you gotta look at it is how bad would your team be without you, right? That is the definition of value. And obviously, if both of these quarterbacks left their teams and were replaced by backups, neither team would be good. But there's a difference when the Ravens had 9 Pro Bowlers, including 4 other guys on offense, and the Bills had 2. It was Josh Allen and it was left tackle Deion Dawkins, okay? Josh Allen has done just as much as Lamar Jackson statistically with far less supporting talent. No Zay Flowers. I mean, he doesn't have a guy like Mark Andrews. Obviously does not have a guy like Derrick Henry. Look, shout out to James Cook, but James Cook would be the 4th best weapon on the Ravens. Think about that. So the fact that the Bills offense scored more points than the Ravens this year, they were top 5 in NFL history with a 3 points. They scored 3 points per drive. That's top 5 in NFL history. And they did it with no 1,000-yard receiver, no super elite running back, like good O-line. But again, when we're splitting hairs here to determine which of these 2 all-time great quarterbacks had the better year, yeah, you got to look at what kind of help they had. So that is the crux of the argument. In addition to, again, the fact that the Bills won more games, they beat both of the 1 seeds in each conference. Sure, they lost to the Ravens, but we're splitting hairs here. And not only did the Bills have the better offense with worse talent around them, but I just think Josh Allen's the quarterback I'd want in a playoff game, and I think that should matter too. So there you go. There you have it. That is the case for Josh Allen.
Those are both our cases for the MVP, and you know what, with the game happening today of the Ravens versus the Buffalo Bills, man, it's going to be an interesting one. It's the rematch from September. This game has nothing to do with anything with the MVP award, but you know, I just hope it's a great game, and I hope the Ravens flock win. Let me know in the comments who you guys got winning that Ravens-Bills game, and let me know in the comments who you guys got winning MVP. And that's all I really got for you guys today, so drop a like and follow. It's very much appreciated. With TikTok getting banned, I don't know what's going to happen, and I really don't know what's going to happen with CapCut getting banned, the thing that I use to, you know, edit all these videos. So we're just gonna have to go ahead. I'll figure something out, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video coming out very, very soon.